Starting. It's almost here.
Wait, is this like a Q&A?
Yeah, this
I don't
is going to
know.
be a Q&A as far as whatever the chat is going to talk about and the people here. And I do
Okay,
believe
trying to pull up the
we've
chat on my
started.
PC.
Here we go, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Break the
Starting.
Rules stream. It is a great pleasure to be here with the people who I have had on many times before. James
So
MK
true.
Ultra Money, Versaloon, Griftshop, and of course Yojimbo King, who I remember. I believe you were back in the Caliag days. We're going to be talking a little bit about that as well, but mainly we're talking about Miladies, all the connections. I want everybody to be very upfront, all the people in the chat, all the people who are here, so that any of the questions that people have will get answered. I don't want to hold anything back. But let's just rewind a little bit for those people who do not know who these people are. Just a very quick intro. So, Verse, go first. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Who am I? I'm a dude who online. I don't know. I do crypto shit. You guys know me. I've been around. I talk to degenerates online. I used to, at least. I don't do it as much anymore. And then yeah, I don't know. Same old, same old. I like feet. We out here.
Excellent. I like feet too. I don't know if as much as you, Verse, but I like them. You know, they're not bad. They have a good shape. Anyway, James, MK Ultra Money, tell us a little bit about yourself for those who don't know.
Well, I feel like everyone should know me by now, and if they don't, that's on them.
There we are. And Griftshop, what do you have to say?
Got him.
Yeah, you already know what it is. Grift.shop. Pretty much. Like James just really said it there.
Yeah.
If you don't know by now, will you ever?
Yeah. Also, I run the Milady Meltdown meme account, which is like inverse bra, but for Miladies.
Excellent. And by the way, talk a little closer to the mic. And finally, we have Yojimbo King with us. I think you are the closest person as far as the source of Miladies. What relationship do you have?
I'm not the artist. I helped produce the project, from a conception to, sort of like idea to like, execution. Me and the Remelia boys, Charlie and Sprite, Milady Sonorum himself. He's the main artist. I'm just sort of like the sort of like helper.
The Janny.
Yeah, I'm like a co-founder of Remelia, co-founder of Miladys.
Producer.
Yeah.
You
What's
got
up, guys?
Very important. Vibing.
Absolutely. So how did this whole thing get started, first off? How did Miladies originate?
Okay. Miladys, it started as organically as possible. We just like had a group chat, and the artist was just posting like his little characters, these little Miladies, and everybody in the chat just wanted to like get one custom. The one that I have on right now, I like asked for one with like the tongue sticking out. I asked for one wearing Balenciaga hat. I was like, okay, make it look like this, make it look like this. And everybody had like specific requests for like all the Malays that they wanted. And, for like almost a year, we are just like posting Miladies back and forth, just like asking Milady Sonora to make us Miladies. And it got to the point where we're just like, screw it, let's just like make an NFT project. And, we just like threw in all the assets of like clothes that we wear, like, made it like a sort of like a profile first like NFT project, something that like people actually wanted to use, like would use, because everybody in the chat were using it already. So we're like, screw it, if we like to use it, other people would like to use it. And it took off with very little marketing effort on our behalf, just like vibe posting, and people saw the vibes and sort of ran with it. So
I'm a little bit confused on how these particular NFTs work. From what I understand, when you have this kind of character generator and NFT, doesn't it work as far as there being all these random assets that then get generated, and I guess you just choose whatever looks best? But what you're saying is that they custom made these.
So we actually have like a on FOD's site, 3D Testosterone, there's a Milady Gen Zero maker where you can like customize it yourself, and like that was like the earliest iteration of like the maker, but in the sense of like how the NFT worked, it's sort of like it's like a pool of like I don't know how many, 150, 200 like different assets that sort of like randomly get stringed together. And you don't really choose it when you mint it. You know, it's like 10K and like you minted it and sort of randomized. You don't like choose it, but you know, just like automatically makes it. And that's sort of like the meta of like how NFTs work for people who don't like, you know, that was just like the meta at the time of just like NFTs, which you know, it's kind of like a gachapon sort of like you know, like roulette wheel type thing. Like you could make like a rare one, you can get like a common one, but ultimately the cuteness factor is what really determines the value, and also like obviously like if it looks like you, because people really have like emotional connections to their own Miladies. Like mine, like I like mine to look like me. Some people have one that want to look like them or whoever, you know.
So what exactly is going on with the two things in the bottom, where you would have, like, I believe it was a heart shape, you had like a pink thing, and then you had another thing, like HP and attack points, but whatever it is for you guys. What is that?
Oh, you have the numbers, your drip score, and then you have the sort of rarity factor, which is sort of like your like how it basically gets determined on how sort of like strung together your outfit is, like in its own style. It's detailed on the website in detail, but you know, it's like if you're wearing like old drip score, like if you're wearing like if all your drip is like prep score, like gothic, or you know, like, you know, hype beast or whatever, then like that gives you like a higher sort of like ranking, whatever. But at the end of the day, nobody really cares about that. They just care about like the cuteness factor. You know, what is cute, and what is you know, cuteness equals rarity, cuteness equals value. So you know, people can look at that, but you know, the real enthusiasts understand
Is all
that.
vibes.
Yeah, the real enthusiasts understand that like the vibes are really like the most important factor.
Always
But
have been. Always have been.
So before we go further into more of the controversial elements here, I want to know from everybody, especially from Verse, who I know is a big anime and feet fan, and those two things do
One
align.
second. Fuck you, shower.
Do align together, you know, pretty well. Like you would be able to have anime girls with, you know, very nice, and you're a clean feet man, right? You don't like dirty feet.
I
he
can't
loves
say
his
that.
dirty feet.
I can't say that. That's neither. I can neither confirm nor deny if that is the case.
All right, but with anime, I guess the idea is that everything is this platonic. Everything is like this platonic form of beauty, or whatever you want to say it. And do you think that there is something that draws people to the cuteness of Milady for the same reason that people are drawn to anime, and especially like more of the old school anime? Because that seems to be the vibe. But what exactly is going on here, in your opinion?
I mean, it's definitely neo. I mean, neo chibi's in the name, right? It's definitely an anime aesthetic. It's not predominantly anime, which is kind of what made it have crossover appeal. They're just cute in the way that anime kids are cute, like, you know, like chibi, like the chibi aesthetic, right? So that's what makes it more appealing to the more mass audience. But because it's not explicitly anime, it's more of a vibe, right? People recognize the Bass Pro Shop hat and like the NWO shirt, or like, you know, the 9/11 hat and shit. Like they recognize the you know, the clothing they're wearing. So it doesn't, you know, it doesn't have the same niche factor that anime has.
yeah, no, we really took it. We really like took it to different like subcultures and sort of like streetwear cultures. Like, you know, some of the stuff was sort of like remixed off of like current sort of like fashion sort of styles. Some of the stuff was remixed off of like, you know, older like early 2000s, sort of like an eclectic mix. But at the end of the day, it was just like what like is the current like meta of fashion, I think. And obviously it was really inspired by like Fruits magazine and like Brutus and Popeye and sort of like these old like street style magazines, and like you know, people who like see the vibe like really really like understand that sort of aspect, just like the fashion enthusiast product, right? It's like very fashion forward, you know, but you know, not to like completely like I don't know. I guess a lot of people don't really like understand that. Like it's just like what we like to wear and what like we like other people to wear. I guess I don't know if you like early 2000s streetwear and sort of like Japanese like Harajuku style like fashion, then like a lot of the background sort of like harken to that. Like you have like
Oh shit. I don't know where he went. He's going to be back. He's probably using a weird laptop. But before Yojimbo King comes back with talking about anime, James, what about you and Grift? What is anything that you want to say before we get into the controversy as far as why this is appealing to you? Anything that wasn't covered?
Yeah, I mean, my whole thesis of my podcast originally, when it was Bad Filmcast before it turned into MK Ultra Money, was pretty much like how like 90s to mid 2000s was like peak aesthetic and culture and shit. So when I saw Miladys, I was like, this is fucking dope, and it encapsulates that. So I'm for anything that encapsulates those vibes, especially in a unique way that's not just like rehashing and whatnot.
Yeah.
And
so
Jimbo's also the homie, so gotta
back.
support the homies projects. But like even without that, that's like how I discovered it and knew about it day one. But besides that, like I was like, yeah, this is fucking...
Well, day one, I was at your crib and I was like, yo, we're dropping this NFT tomorrow. Check it out, right?
Yeah.
That was like day like -8 or some shit like that, right?
Yeah.
But
and like I originally like minted one just because it's like, yo, you're my homie here, support the project. I like the art. It's most NFTs you run into out there are just very visually off-putting and just don't have good vibes. And like you can you can just look at one of these things and immediately tell like, oh yeah, this is now like a medium for memes and other communication and like building like good vibes communities out there, because it's just like the sort of like beauty in inviting nature is just like a fractal, or at least that I found, of like the other people you meet in the community, like posting this sort of like collective like network spirit energy that you can find on the timeline out there.
So that's an interesting point. So I sort of like talked about like sort of the origins, like how it came to be, what like the style, like the design elements. We have like a whole like design note like section that people can read on our website. I'll probably link that in a little bit. But what ended up happening and what a lot of people know Miladys for now is sort of like the Milady posting, right? Like this Milady posting, right? Like what is a Milady poster? Like this sort of happened completely organically. Like, and it's really ironic how like it sort of became this sort of like deranged, like schizo, like really like unconventional posting style where a lot of people got drawn to. We didn't plan for this. It wasn't like our intention. It was just like a cute project that like our friend was drawing up, and he's like the nicest guy. The artist, if you know the artist, he's like the nicest guy. Like the sort of like was calm, like chill, like normal ass guy. And and it is sort of like people just ran with I think I don't know who popularized like the style of like Milady posting to just like say
Lucas.
Yeah,
it was probably
Lucas.
Lucas.
Wait, for the people who
Lucas-
have been living under a rock, what exactly is Milady posting?
it's just
So-
like schizo fun posting online.
This is so like for a while we sort of, I don't know, like you sort of have to have this sort of like optics or whatever, where you like you wanted to blend in, you sort of wanted to like like we didn't really understand how to market a project like this, because we're all just like longtime posters, like longtime anons. We didn't know how to market it or whatever. We didn't really try. And then sort of a few Miladys just started going viral with just like a posting style, just like saying whatever the hell they wanted. And then so sort of like a bunch of people got drawn to that. And then so what like organically developed was just like the Milady posting, which it's just literally just like saying whatever you want and having like no qualms, with just like unabashed, just like pure, stream of consciousness posting. Like that's just sort of what organically happened. And if you look at a lot of NFT projects, they're very like they have no like distinct posting style. They just have like maybe like Bored Apes, like, maybe Bored Apes like chill, or like do like, oh, we're gonna like I don't know, like
Oh,
there's no real like distinct posting style that I've seen for a lot of different NFT projects besides just like trying to like shield their own bags, right?
I'm just
But
imagining there being a lot of people who, not even the originators of a lot of these NFTs, but the people that end up jumping on the bandwagon afterwards, the same people who jumped on previous bandwagons before, the same people who sold mortgages, before the crash. Like, I just imagine that those people high on coke are just going to run from one to another. But with something like Milady, there almost seems to be a wall between those kind of salesmen and Milady. And I could be wrong about that, but it almost seems like Milady's intentionally very different from a lot of these other products where, I don't know, am I wrong about that? Am I wrong to assume that a lot of these more, coke-sniffing salesmen who jump from one bandwagon to another don't really know as much what to do here, but maybe other people do, or is just fancy thinking?
There's a thing like like when people talk about like the community, like, oh, it's vibing the Discord with the community, right? It's like it's sort of like it's not like real, like what is the community other than like somebody just like along for the ride, and if it goes up, then there's stronger community members. If it goes down, then they'll just like abandon, right? Miladies are sort of unique as a project because we like, by any metric, like failed, right? Like the project went to like basically zero, and it was at like almost like sort of like, so we minted about like 3K 4K in like the first like 3 months, and then it sort of like went like flatline. Like there's like people sort of like still like sort of like posting maybe like once a month for like 8 months about, and like it was like very little activity besides like a few sort of like enthusiasts who are just like sort of like still with the vibes, right? Our friends. And these like a lot of people like shout out GF Survivor, who did Ad World. He was like one of the few people like on chain sort of like minting. A few other people like Legions who's like minting. There's very few people like and it was really funny like looking at the chain during like a sort of like our dry period when like we like by any like metric like failed, but then it sort of like popped off like later, and like without any effort on our behalf, just like posting, people just got like like acclimated to just like what Miladies were over time, just like seeing them on their feed, just like, and then just sort of like went like rampant. Like,
yeah, I mean, a lot of people started rocking them as profile pictures, like very slowly but surely, like a lot of bigger accounts. And then there was like a solid like few weeks where a lot of accounts with like a lot of followers had Miladies as their profile picture, and everyone was just like, "What is this thing that's happening with these pics?" Right? The price didn't move at all, but there was like at least 2 or 3 weeks where like basically everyone had one that like was like at the core of CC's like shit posting.
I think that's like one of like the biggest aspects is like this was basically a CT project, not like an NFT Twitter project. It's like a huge difference between like the two groups. Like very little overlap.
And by the way, there's a weird helicopter sound going on, and I'm not sure who it's coming from exactly. It seems to come in whenever some people speak, but anyway, we'll figure it out. I'm not hearing that helicopter anymore, so whatever was done, good.
It might have been me. It's my PC's kind of loud.
All right, no problem at all. Thank you.
He got that Dota PC. He got that.
Yes.
That Korean StarCraft.
But anyway,
that
now
PC beats on like a 2-stroke like fucking engine. It's like.
Anyway, now we gotta get into the controversy now. So here we go. So initially, from what I understand, people were dredging up the connections between Miladys and the Polyakov people. And for those who don't know, when Break the Rules first started in 2020, we had Sunny, we had other people from Polyakov. I mean, Verse, you were there as well. So we had a very interesting thing where a lot of these people were brought in whose views I find to be very abhorrent as far as, like people who were considering themselves to be, although honestly I think a lot of it was LARPing, considering themselves to be actual neo-Nazis and fascists and, being as edgy and extreme as possible. And at the same time, there were also things that I was not as privy to that may have been going on in the Discord, where all of a sudden there was all this talk about there was some pro-Anna business going on as far as Mia and the people who were in certain parts of the Discord. And again, the only access that I personally had were to people like Sonny and the people who were around him, because those are the people who were mostly going on BTR. I've never actually spoken with Mia, so I don't really know that much about what Mia's connection is to Sonny, other than they seem to be friends. And I don't know. This is where I currently am right now. I've been reading a lot of back and forth, so let's clear the air. Whoever wants to talk about this first. So I don't know. How about you, Verse? Because you also had Mia on, and yeah, let me know what you think.
So, all right, I'll give you like a brief timeline, I guess, from that point of break the rules mid-pandemic to now. Somewhere after, somewhere during that, like when you would have everyone on, this is when everyone was still friends, but there was definitely a falling out between like Sunny's faction and Mia's faction in like Kalyak, whatever, like that whole squad. And, obviously we came on many times to talk about what that was, but basically there was a falling out between the two factions, and they like started like flame posting each other. And then the Sunny squad was always more of this, I don't know, the Sunny squad started kind of putting that whole rumor about the pro stuff into the ether, and it didn't really help that Mia always goes full psyop, and like whatever psyop's happening just doubles down. So that of course doesn't really help anything. But there was like a chasm that kind of created, and then Mia obviously killed their account, came back as Sonya. Sonya was like very similar concept, but like slightly off, a little more unhinged.
The Sonya account, that nobody really talks about, and this is what I've just like seen from that account was, there was a sort of like, emphasis on being skinny, but it didn't really talk about like you have to be super skinny all the time. It was like, if you are gonna like restrict your diet, here's the best diet to eat. It was more like a diet account. This was like when everybody's talking about like the best like foods to eat. And it was like.
Sonya went more like esoteric health.
Yeah. It was more like Pete. It was like early Pete
Peter.
vibes.
Yeah, it was Ray Pete stuff. That's what Sonya was doing, and that's still, that part of Twitter is still kind of vaguely around.
But honestly, with like whenever people talk about Kalyak, it's such a loose organization where there was like a few Discords, a few like sort of groups. It was so like. There's like a few people I like to talk to that were like Kalyak posters. The rest of them, like, I vibed in the Discord for a little bit. I was sort of had like a, fascination with like what people were posting, but people, like in the same sense how like network spirituality is a thing. Where you can't really like you can, if you want to describe network spirituality as like a concept, it's sort of like similar to like Kalyak, where it sort of like tries to take multiple different sort of theories and sort of multiple different sort of like posting modalities and sort of thing, and sort of synthesize into like a slogan, right? Like it was a sort of like a slogan, right? And
yeah, Kalyak was never a full thing. Like, even, I mean, how many times did we come on to break the rules and talk about Kalyak? And everyone's like, "What is Kalyak? I don't get it." And I'm like, at most, like the extent to which it can be described as a group, it was an art Discord with like a Minecraft server.
Yeah,
that's like the full extent to which it can truly be described as a group. Outside of that, it's like really just anyone who felt like saying anything, because like there was no like gating policy. It's very 4chan, right?
So
sure.
This is where like the controversy comes in. On people trying to cancel Miladies or whatever. There's a huge aspect of NFTs that is highly sanitized, right? It's like like there's like if there's any like this is also part of like my theory on why art blocks became a thing, and sort of sort of generative like programmable art. It's like the least cancelable art possible, right? Like you basically write math, and your math makes the art, and it's like, how can you audit this math as being problematic? It's just numbers, right? And the moment it's sort of like art gets humanized, then it's like there's a vector for being canceled, right? And so this is the most like human based art, I think. Milady's like, it's sort of like this was your vibe, like this was like you are your Milady is you, right? So
This is my Milady. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. And then when people tie back the Mia account, right? A lot of people don't understand.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn it! Here he goes
I'll
again.
continue where you went off. A
Continue,
lot of
yeah.
people don't really understand that like the Me account was like this whole like schizo posting thing. It was performance art. It was like a writing exercise, as was mentioned very explicitly on my podcast. Right. This is not even like, oh, me retroactively talking about this. This is like on my podcast in May 2020. Like it's the first 5 minutes of the podcast. It's like very explicitly said because people didn't understand it when it was live. Right. So, it's so much harder to understand it like this far away. But it's funny that Jimbo said that about the sanitization thing. Jeffrey, not Jeffrey. I don't know why I said Jeffrey. Justin Murphy had a
Jeffrey Epstein.
similar, yeah, Jeffrey Epstein, right? Justin Murphy had a very similar kind of idea about how like, it's there's a very crypto Twitter is just extremely sterile, right? There are people who are traders who decided they can who like transitioned into
Yeah,
like
I'm back. Sorry, I
art
keep cutting
curators.
out.
Oh yeah, keep going.
Wait, where was I?
You said something about Mia, the Mia account.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, I don't know where I cut out. I'm like holding the phone to my face, but yeah, so when Mia was posting, it was like objectively like it was an art project, and there was not really like people don't understand like the people posted before like like a lot of like people post on a 4chan, people posted on Bees, like anon posting was a thing. And a lot of like these people who are trying to cancel are like not anons. They don't understand anon culture. And when you're posting anonymously, you can say whatever you want, and that's the real draw to Miladys, is that they can say whatever they want online again, and they feel unrestricted. It's like radically sort of free speech. And there's a few. It's like I don't agree with everything everybody says, but I will stand by their right to say it, right? And I don't want people to get removed or deplatformed or anything, right?
I also find it extremely funny and ironic how like crypto Twitter, which is like crypto Twitter, which is based on a technology which is literally there to like stop censorship and to like let people just like permissionless create content, decides to run fucking like it's really the Web3 crowd, but they decided to run fucking canceling campaigns because people say bad words and whatever. Like, I understand this is a little bit more edgy than you're probably used to. I understand that you are a finance person who's pretending to be an art curator. I get it, but you're not. You're completely like you're like running these like you're running with values that are completely counter to the whole basis of like this whole technology, right? Like, I can understand if there was actual like evidence beyond the words, but like screenshots and words aren't evidence,
Well, the only evidence that I was able to, and again, evidence in quote, because there's no way that I can prove anything, but the only evidence that I was able to find from what was being discussed, let me just go down here and find it once again. While I'm finding it, though, I do want to say that for me, it is not the defining factor of what Kaliak is and the name Kali, but I still think it's appropriate just to say, like, what exactly is Kali. So Kali is both the god of the Kali Yuga, as in the lowest of the yugas or ages, where everything is chaotic. Kali is also the goddess which is the counterpart to Shiva, who is the Hindu god of destruction, and Kali is supposed to be this goddess who annihilates demons, and she's like the thing from which everything originates from. So those are like two separate things of what Kali means, and the idea is Kali accelerationism, that you're supposed to accelerate the chaos and destruction in the Kali Yuga, and like somebody was saying, not even Sunny believe that.
Just to cut in, because I've been posting as the Kali avatar for 5+ years almost.
Mm-hmm.
And Kali is, in my mind, this destruction and chaos and also creation, where it destroys negative. You want Kali. It's like in the places that worship Kali, like the mother goddess. It's like divine mother goddess of creation and destruction. Right? You destroy to create. Right? It's the dual aspect is very important there.
Well, Kali specifically, I think she turns into another form after she calms down when she's dancing on Shiva. Yeah, so as far as what I think drew a lot of people in there, I think that it is a combination of this yearning for spirituality while at the same time being very irreverent to the points of, embracing for some of the people there esoteric Hitlerism. So I guess the idea is how extreme could I possibly get in a lot of these beliefs while stepping out of the ordinary, and I believe that they were definitely able to accomplish that. And it was also interesting how me being a Jewish person genetically, and I'm looking forward to James doing that Jewish impression that he always loves. Oh, you're muted. God damn it. Unmute yourself.
This is an important thing also, just about like online culture.
Did you say Jewish impression?
Yeah, here we go.
Oh, would you like to see Woody Allen, or would you like to have the landlord come collect? I think rent's due. It is June 1st in a couple of days now, Lev. You are one of the tribe. You should know that the rent is due. Where's the rent, Lev? And I better get a tip too.
And speaking of tips, everybody need those super chats, so James will do more wonderful Jewish impressions. Because look,
here's the thing that you completely understand about just like engaging with content online and engaging with like anything really is that you can engage with something and sort of consume content without actually having to like believe or really like associate with and believe like taken like as your like sort of your ideology or whatever, right? Like I can study whatever stuff and I can engage with whatever side of like the darkest parts of the internet, and it's not me, right? It's like not I just like looking into this stuff. A lot of people sort of will shy away from this side of the internet. People will look at Miladys as like, oh, it's like it's not worth looking at, but a lot of people really value this type of posting, right? Like it's something really really valuable, I think, for just like it's like even people like Elon Musk sort of like address like a sort of like town square, like posting like unknown spaces and things like this. People like like it's very important. This is how I think Miladys really generated like the real like first organic culture in NFT space, like period. Like I don't know of any other culture or community that is like as sort of like distributed and sort of organic as Miladys, but not to toot our own horn. But,
well, you
can do it.
Yeah, you can do it. But to be clear with the whole Jewish connection there, because I was of Jewish ancestry and was there to a lot of these people who I think were spending a lot of their time on 4chan. This was kind of a new thing. How regardless of whatever things James might say about the
tribes, man.
Yes, exactly. Regardless of any of that,
Americans.
Yeah, landlord
People
Americans. Yes, regardless of the landlord Americans, there was a very interesting thing there where people all of a sudden realized that I was not really going according to a lot of these stereotypes they had, at the least in my interest of a lot of their interest when it comes to spirituality and finding out the truth and valuing things like family and culture and not having a lot of their extreme beliefs while at the same time still valuing the frustrations that they feel in modern life. And that's kind of like why I decided to break the rules in the first place, in a way, because I think a lot of people are frustrated and they're venting those frustrations in ways that I find to be very bad. So why not just bring them to the table and find out, what are you pissed off at? Why is this going on? And let's try and solve this without killing each other. So anyway,
a lot of people are cringe. What you really mean to say is a lot of people are cringe boomers who can't interact with information without having to already agree with the information they're interacting with. Right? Like,
sure.
Why is it that Ryder Rips? I saw someone wanted to talk to Ryder Rips. He's a bum. He's a bozo. Anyway, why is it that like?
No, he's welcome on BTR.
He's a bozo. Anyway, why am I getting right for having guests with a neo-Nazi? I'm black. I can talk to whoever I want. Like, leave me alone, right? I don't have to like agree or disagree. Like, I could just interact with information because I'm from the information age, right? We're not a boomer where like I'm only gonna read books I already agree with beforehand. There's not like a pretense where I have to agree with you just because I want to interact with this information, as Jimbo said, right? So this whole like canceling thing is like, oh, you interacted with someone who's a Nazi, or oh, they said a bad word, or that. It's like this boomer way of thinking about things online. It's like the internet is its own thing. It kind of exists, and it's a network that's based around interaction, right? You're gonna interact with people, right? Fundamentally, there's billions of people on the internet. You are mathematically guaranteed to interact with pedophiles and racists, and you have no choice, right? The percentage of the population even if you're going to go with conservative numbers, you have to interact with all of them. So get over it, is what I'm saying. Like, eventually people will catch up with this, but it's too difficult of a concept for them at the moment.
But the whole goal, I think, is to not just keep people in whatever bubble they happen to be, but try and expand it. Even though I do value there being different communities, I generally think some people end up getting a little bit confused and go too off the beaten path, which is why I want to bring in some of the questions that any of you guys, by the way, who are here in the chat, listen, I want this to be a very fair stream. So if you guys have any questions, any criticisms that you want to level at anything having to do with Milady, I am all ears. But as far as the thread over here, there was a thread by Don XMCA, James Liao 333. I don't know if you guys know.
Oh, that's the only person who did research. That's the Saving Milady thread.
Yeah, so that was the Saving Milady thread, but then I also decided to look under it as well, as far as like what are some of the big criticisms that people are leveling at this thread.
I can address a lot of the FUD and a lot of the stuff. So we've had like every sort of name thrown at us, from racist to sexist to even like pedo, which is like the craziest accusation. And so much of this stuff is completely misguided and like misunderstood. It's really like screwed up that a lot of people sort of will take serious, like crazy serious allegations and just take them completely serious. With no proof. I mean, I'm like, there was like multiple sort of people saying like there's been victims of abuse related to Miladys. I'm like, all right, where are they? Who are they? And
so,
nobody's found.
Well,
them.
so the only thing that I'm able to get over here, there was somebody named Luke Refund who said must have missed this one with the victims, and this Milady Watch thread was linked to talking about somebody named Nya Beat and some relationship that Sonya had with this Nya Beat character, and there's like some weird thing with blood and whatever. So I don't know what the fuck is going on here. Basically, they were saying like this is something that nobody's bringing up, nobody's talking about. So we talked
about it. It's addressed. Like all this stuff is addressed. We got our DM group leaked or whatever, and or not leaked. It was hacked. So they started posting screenshots out of context and all this stuff. Nya Beat, they sort of trying to say that people are underage and stuff. Like, no, we never had anybody in chat who was underage or any of these people. There was one time where somebody like was added for a little bit, but then they got removed right away. And the fact of the matter is, like the aesthetics that we're sort of dealing with, sort of are really popular. Among younger people, right? Like people like the sort of like stuff, like the younger audience, and we're always aware of that. There's sort of like off-color jokes in the chat, but there's no real like stuff, and like people really like tried to there was no crimes committed or any of this stuff.
But to be clear about like who exactly is this Naya Beat person? Why do people bring her up? From the thread, at least, it seems like they're trying to say that Sonya persuaded Nya Beat to give him control over the Instagram and revamp it as Mia Cyber Angel Baby. So who exactly is this person, and what can we do with the information that was given there?
Nia Beat. Yeah, that was this British girl who's like this DJ. There was I think she retweeted some like George Floyd meme or something, and then like all her fans were sort of trying to like cancel her, and then so like I think what Charlie ended up doing was like telling her to rebrand as Charlie. Or something, or like rebrand as like me. Or I forgot exactly what happened there. I wasn't really around then.
So there's no evidence that she was underage or anything of that.
No,
sort.
she's not. There's a joke. That was like the joke. She wasn't actually underage, but
All right, and once again, for all the people who are listening, I want to be your vessel. I want you to write in whatever questions you have. If you think that something's not being addressed here, I want to be as extremely open as possible. So that's for all the people who are watching this right now. I mean, I don't know, like, I really want to... It's funny. Like, I wanted to invite people over who would be able to give retorts to whatever and who would be against it, but for some reason, nobody wanted to come in, and I don't understand.
In fairness, we did have like a week-long Twitter war where I fucking destroyed all of them. So like, that does make things a little bit spicy, you know?
Yeah. No, honestly. I mean, we had like multiple bounties. Like I think somebody posted like somebody really posted a 40K bounty. Find any victims of abuse, and we'll give you just because like there wasn't any, right? Nobody in Remilia ever did anything wrong, and like if there was, then there'd be a federal investigation. There'd be like a police investigation. But it's not true. It's just a rumor mill. It's not real. That's why we're gonna love when Miladies are back at Old Time High and everybody's
It's happening. It's already on the way back. They're already creeping back up because once you realize it's all fucking
the vibe's back.
Yeah,
the vibe's back.
That feel when I still didn't buy an alien. Never gonna have an
alien.
Right.
I actually kind of should have did that. You see how many people are already switching their profile pictures back to Milady? You see how it's trickling slowly in.
I've kept mine on the whole time on women posting.
Yeah, I'm not a pussy, so I kept mine the whole time. Also doxed and everything defended, which is the other thing that threw me off for crypto Twitter. It's like, guys, you all know who I am already, right? Do you truly believe I would, under an account that everyone knows my name already, and I linked like a project I'm working with? I was literally on a retreat with them.
But again, this is the reason. This is one of the reasons why Charlie took a break and sort of like stepped down. Was because just because we wanted to, like, from inception, there wasn't any trying to cover up. He wasn't trying to cover up anything. We had the or I don't know who's controlling the archive for Mia, but it was all up. Like nobody deleted any posts or anything. Mm-hmm. It was just like it was over. Like it was done. It was over. But they decided to revive Mia, and they didn't understand it, and they sort of like tried to cancel it. Probably were like, oh, if people don't like it this much, then I guess he needs to sort of like step down. It was sort of like it was like his decision.
Wait, who's Charlie? Because you keep
Charlie is one of the co-founders of Mia and Remilia.
Huh? Is Charlie the Indian gentleman, or was that a whole psyop?
I don't want to dox him. He's an anon.
Okay. So that's another thing that I wasn't clear on. What was happening from Sunny's faction, where they were claiming certain things about Mia, and from there it was like, who are you going to believe? Are you going to believe Sunny's people, or are you going to believe Mia?
Here's another thing. Here's another thing that a lot of these crypto people are caught up in almost, and like sort of they don't understand. Like there's like sort of like old beefs, and there's a lot of like misinformation being fed to some of these like bigger accounts, just to like rile up and sort of like try to like rile these people up. And they'll just take it at face value and just sort of like just to feed the FUD, because Sunny and those people just don't believe in NFTs. They're just completely anti-NFT, or like at like 100%. And if they see an opportunity to break some NFT, I think they jumped at it. and they
Yeah.
got
Also, the other thing that people also forget is that like half of what Polyakov was known for was doing psyops, right?
yeah,
And the like imagine like if you now have a psyop like a group that's split in half, and one half is doing NFTs, the other half hates it, and what is like they all just run psyops all day. That was like their biggest thing to do during the pandemic. They would make fake rumors. They'd pretend people were dead. They would pretend that all they did was fuck with people, and no one ever knew what was going on, right?
Yeah.
Homegrown intelligence operations.
Yeah, and then now I'm like, now you try to explain to people 2 years past from without context screenshots, like, all right, they're our Discord that does run psyops, so now you're falling for a psyop because you don't understand what the fuck was going on the first time. But it's like, it's so hard to explain, but like, that's what you're dealing with is like literally like a bunch of Zoomers who have nothing better to do but fuck with each other because it's 4chan energy, right? That's what 4chan does. 4chan runs psyops. Kaliak runs psyops. Sunny's whole crew runs psyops all day. Right. Also, the funniest thing is that half of what Mia got canceled for is shit Sunny is like for being associated with the people running the site, like with Sunny and his crew, right? Like Mia's not a Nazi. Like Sunny's literally an outspoken Nazi, right? Like it's like that's like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, and he has nothing to do with Ramilia, so it's just kind of like
yeah, there was just like that was like one of the things, like anybody can look back at your interview with him, and honestly, like it was that shock factor that really like drew me to sort of like be fascinated by the Kaliak posters. Is that they would say some like sort of shock factor, sort of like 4chan-esque, like sort of sort of like Hitlerist sort of post, but then like go into depth about like what they mean by this, and it was more of like a historical lens where it's like for what I looked at is like nobody's really a Nazi, but it's like, oh, what was this sort of like historical sort of like deep like alt history? It's like a conspiratorial lens, like alt history.
I remember when Sunny was DMing me wanting to prove that my mom was of like the Khazarian nobility.
Yeah,
But not just Khazarian, like Khazarian nobility, and actually it's like Ostrogoths. So he wanted to prove that my mom was like an Ostrogoth descendant, and the Ostrogoths were like the Khazarian, like the heads of the Khazarians back then.
Yeah, people just really don't understand what they're dealing with. They're dealing with like extremely online people, and half of like it's funny, like I'd say like 80%. It's like kind of Pareto distribution. Whenever a bull market comes, 80% of the accounts are new, right? And there's only a few that made it through the last wave, right? So from our perspective, we were around in the bear market doing shit posting with Mia and blah blah blah, right? Everything was fine. Crypto Twitter was fine. No one gave a shit. Actually, half of Crypto Twitter watched these streams, right? Now, 80% of the people are new. They weren't here for that. They have no concept of like being extremely online. They literally just logged onto Twitter a year ago. And now they're trying to like piece it together. And they're like going through the shit that like your chat would go through when I'm like trying to explain a psyop. And they're like having their mind blown all at once. And they're trying to like piece it together. And it's also 2 years out of date. So it's just like, and now you can't really explain that in Word. Like when I'm trying to write a thread about like what's going on, like you can't really explain that.
It's half of the stuff that people are sort of like up in arms on. It was just like mostly like out of context, and it's like also like just trying to like look into like like you have to have been there, like, and people just don't understand posting without a financial incentive. Like honestly, people are so used to like everybody who they're posting with on crypto Twitter and NFT Twitter, everybody they're posting with are posting. They're only there because like they're invested in like whatever community that they're like best, basically like financial incentivized to post.
Mm-hmm.
And Miladys never really cared about that. Most Miladys just wanted to post, and they just found a community among Miladys who posted like funny stuff and and cool stuff. Plus,
they love to buy the merch.
Plus it's like the dopamine aspect. It's like you put on a Milady, you're instantly friends with hundreds of Miladys, and
that's true.
All your stuff.
And what about the raves? How does that go down? And did somebody like send people to make some arrests, or what exactly was going on?
They kept
there?
canceling it.
Well. I don't know who started canceling the first 2 raves. Somebody tried to shut them down. I don't know if it was
So let
Middle
Fred
Age.
Bepenovitz.
But the last 2 raves were a success. The third rave was amazing, unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
The fourth rave, which was last Friday, was also really, really, really fun. Good dancing, good people. Everybody had a good time. There's absolutely like this is like one of the best aspects of Miladys is that everybody pulls up and like people are like flying out for these things.
Wow.
And it's just like
True.
good
Well,
times and there's
what,
no bad energy whatsoever. Like,
what kind of people are there usually? Like, if you were to, what would you say it's kind of like a happening would have been back in the 60s?
Yeah, art school kids. It
Yeah.
feels like you're in art. It feels like
yeah,
you're in
it's like
new
a
school.
younger venue. You know, there's like a sort of like mix of people from like I would say like honestly, probably about like 30% of the people who show up are actually Miladys. The rest are just like New York like art kids who just like there's something to do and like this is how we're like spreading the word. Like this is why it's annoying people can't say that people are like where's the new market participants. It's like yeah, we're literally creating them because we post events for like you know most like normies don't want to show up to a crypto event because it seems cringe. We're not advertising these events as crypto events. We're just like come to the rave and then like new people show up. It's like what's an NFT? It's like check it out. We have the best one. And then like you know like half of the people I talked to at these raves like either they just learned about what an NFT was or they got into crypto. I mean, you have no idea how many people I met. Like dozens of people I met at these raves. They said they bought their first ETH in order to buy an NFT. In order to buy a Milady, right?
Yeah, I think a Milady was the first NFT that I ever minted. Yeah,
there's so many girls.
I'm new to the game.
Yeah, it was mine
here,
too. I think.
Yeah, there's so many girls that I know that also got ETH. Like I actually had to walk them through getting ETH so they can buy Miladys. Like girls that aren't in crypto.
Yeah,
like,
it's the only like crypto NFT project that like girls are into and have like good ratios at the parties and like I think that's just all a product of you know what we're talking about the appealingness of the aesthetics.
Jugs' girlfriend was over last night and she was like talking about like wanting to buy a Milady and stuff. Like just people that would never like touch NFTs.
Girls who show up look like the Miladys, and they'll be like, "What's a Milady?" And I show them, they're like, "Oh my god, I love that!" And then they go and like buy them, and they're like, they post online, like they post on Twitter, like, "This is my Milady now."
I mean, like friends of the show, default friend. I helped her get one. Like so many people just want one, and they're not even in crypto. They don't care. They're just like, "This is cool."
Yeah, this is why like it kills. This is why it kills the vibe when people sort of like talk about all this like cancel stuff. What does that mean?
That's your handler.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Yeah,
and it's.
And like one of the principles that the community like I've seen a lot of people be into is like the post ownership concept, like whereas like the sort of standard within the at least like the Bored Ape led NFT crypto space with this sort of gatekeeping where it's like, oh, if you don't have this actual JPEG, then you're shunned by the community for misrepresenting yourself. Now like Miladys, people are encouraged to just like right click save and then put them as their PFP.
Oh yeah, no, we
immediately like have all of these people posting in concert with you.
Yeah, we essentially killed the right click save FUD because like most people, I mean, most like there's like a twofold factor in how like Milady sort of like got popular with normies. One was people got really sort of like people wanted to like sort of like, you think your NFT has value? I just right clicked and saved it. How about that? And then all the Bored Apes were like, no, you can't do that. You can't. It's mine. You can't do that.
All my apes gone.
Yeah, we're like, no, we want you to do that, right? Plus, like all the memes and everything. Like, no, like go ahead. Like we want you to do that. Like post as a Milady. Like you know, you can't afford one. Go ahead. Like right click, so you can steal mine if you want, right?
Not to mention, like there's only 10,000.
And also like we just like the like Milady memes and stuff, and just like it's just so unique in itself. Not like sort of looking like an NFT. It's just a Milady, just what it is. That like I have like normie friends who just like posted Milady memes. I'm like, oh, you're a Milady? They're like, what is that? Like I don't know what that is. I just saw this meme and I posted it. Like, you know,
that's pretty sick.
It just manages to just penetrate like the sort of like I literally will see people who are otherwise anti NFT just like somehow like come across a Milady meme and like retweet it. I'm like, oh, do you know that's an NFT? They're like, no, I had no idea, right?
Now,
Meanwhile, like any other NFT doesn't have the same mimetic sort of like that, like weight, basically.
It's a medium for artists to work in, and anyone who like posters, writers, designers, like
so if somebody wants to make a derivative,
people, yeah,
like if somebody wants to make a derivative of a Miladys, what happens then? Like I've noticed there was like a Milady auras
we have
going
an
on.
open copyright. We have like an open copyright. Like anybody can take the Milady sort of a visual style and just like run it with their. We're not condemning any person. There's like dozens at this point of Milady derivatives, and probably like like millions of dollars worth of Milady derivatives. I think Milady derivatives made more money than like the actual Milady project itself at this point.
So
honestly.
so
Like,
Verse, you have one with Law from One Piece. What is that?
Oh, that's a derivative. That's Mamani. That's a Nutmeg. He basically just takes Miladys and he like hand draws custom ones.
Oh yeah, they're like really high quality.
He just can't. I'm like, yo, where can I mint it? He literally hasn't minted them yet. I'm like,
they're just like JPEGs. See, that's exactly how like Milady started. Just like literally JPEGs. So we all like them. And then like after a certain like the inflection point, it's like, oh, let's make it an NFT. It's like mint it. Like cool.
Yeah, he literally draws them all by hand and for people he likes, and then eventually he's gonna mint the collection, and I'm sure they'll sell.
Hold on, I'm getting a DM. Somebody's telling me look at the chat. Is there any comments? I'm not looking at I'm not seeing the chat.
Are you talking about the chat inside of StreamYard? Because that one doesn't really have anything new. I don't know which chat they're exactly talking about, because the one that's on the screen over here, I mean, that's the Break the Rules chat, so I don't really know what chat is being discussed here. Ask for more information.
Or I don't know if there's like questions. I don't know if there's like questions that I'm not seeing.
Are you streaming it on multiple platforms?
Let me check on Odyssey. Let me check on Odyssey, because Odyssey, for those who don't know, Break the Rules is also an Odyssey, but because Odyssey did not integrate their chat with the rest of the restream, it doesn't really show up. So, no, I don't see any new comment. I just see one comment that I missed to Grimhood. Shout out to Grimhood from the last stream, who says, is there a specific kind of magnesium I should be taking? So if anybody...
Take magnesium ionate or magnesium glycinate.
There we go. Yeah, so I don't know where. Ask for more information. But I want to ask another NFT-related question. So when it comes to having this randomizer pick out different features and then people decide what looks the cutest, can both coexist where you would have, let's say, the ability to put together like a custom thing or have certain designs be prepared as is, like the specific hat with the specific shirt, while also having the randomizer? Or are they mutually exclusive when it comes to creating NFTs?
So they're mutual. I'll answer that. They're mutually exclusive, right? You could buy the one you want, though. Like obviously, go on secondary. If you got the Skrill, you can buy it if you have the money. However, for the most part, like that the Gen 0 Milady maker that he was talking about on FOD Corp's website, that you could do it there.
We might develop a Gen 3 maker.
That'd be sick.
Wait, so FOD Corp is also involved with this?
Podfork is I don't know if he wants me to dox it publicly. I guess might as well just dox it as transparency. He's like in Remelia. He does a little bit of web stuff for us. He does like a little bit of vibe posting for us. He's like a OG, OG Remelia guy.
It started all in Break the Rules, Lev.
Yeah, FOD Corp did the initial logo for Break the Rules and for James MK
Ultra Money, baby.
No, you're literally at the center of all this. Everyone knows Lev and Jules Break the Rules.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, how far this has come, but this is only the beginning. And if you want to support Break the Rules, go to breaktherules.tv to subscribe. All the people who are watching, all the Milady heads, that's what I'm going to call you from now on, Milady heads. All the Milady heads who are watching this, subscribe to Break the Rules right now. We're playing this on, D-Live. We're playing this on, see, there we go, Verbal Acuity. Not really working out so well despite my genetics.
Listen, the irony here is that Mia has said it multiple times in the, you could look in the Mia archive, that all culture is downstream from Mia. It is actually true because, obviously we're just fucking around on the internet doing podcasts and shit posting, and now here we are 2 years later, fucking talking about canceling Mia after their project was the only project making money in the bear market. So
Well,
Me is vindicated.
Well, I have a question for everybody about the raves, and I have a couple of questions after that about the
About what?
NFTs, about the raves. So with the raves, what exactly is the political vibe, if there even is one? Like, do you notice that in this very restricting culture that we're in right now in New York City, people are a little bit looser?
Political vibes?
It's just it's a rave.
No,
like
it's not,
It's just people show up and dance
fun,
and
chill
fucking
people
have
like
fun. That's
ready to
it.
build.
Good.
Like,
No, I understand that
Yeah.
people have fun, but you know what I mean. What I'm trying
No,
to get.
literally not. It's literally just people dancing. It's like if you imagine a rave, like
That's the thing. That's also the thing. That's also the thing that like sort of got me. Like I feel like most people in crypto, there's like a loose political sort of like it's non ideological, but it's just like we're here to have fun and make money, and whatever stops us from that, we're antithetical to that, right?
mhm.
It's not the right or the left at this point. It's just like I'd rather be like right, as in correct, right? Like I
Yeah.
just want to be like you know, I want to help me and my friends make money, and I want to, you know, expand the network and sort of like white pill the network, and anything that like will stop against that, doesn't matter what side it is on, like, you know, whatever spectrum it's on. I don't like that. So there's you know, New York obviously has like a leaning, but nobody really brings any of this like dumb ideological stuff in the network, which is good. I like that. And
I could put it this way: the fact that you don't bring any of this ideological stuff in is already in the way political, because what that means is if nobody's pushing any political agenda, as I think people tended to do within the last several years, in a way that already shows you being political, even if you're apolitical. Do you know what I'm trying to get at here?
Yeah,
Like,
apolitical is a stance. Yeah, you
well,
can't avoid a stance.
yeah, well,
It's postmodern.
people can be, let's see, much more free in that kind of environment, not to have to always signal to everybody else that I have the right opinions about everything all the time.
Yeah, the only signal is the vibe, right? Are you vibing or are you not vibing? If you're not vibing, you gotta go. Simple as.
Oh, by the
That's
way,
how it
I
works.
think I found the chat messages, because I keep forgetting that YouTube does not show all the messages, so I have to double check here on YouTube. So there was one from S&W Gaming. I don't know if this was the one. Ratwell was butthurt about his shitty project, so he instigated FUD. What is that?
I don't want to talk.
Chubby cats.
Yeah, the chubby kittens. Chubby kittens happen to
Chubby
have
fat
a little.
cats.
So this is something that, you know, obviously this is hearsay, not really hearsay. Fuck it, they already slandered everyone, so fuck them. There's the four major threads that were going on, which I find it hilarious considering crypto Twitter is all about checking the chain, right? The four major canceling threads were by like Tetranode, they were by fucking 0x not gonna make it, they were by literally all the devs from Tubby or like big holders like Cryptopathic, and like it's like, okay, I understand, right? There's in theory, there's a push to, you know, do the right thing, which is clearly whatever, right? But in practice, all this cancellation happened all from four big accounts that are either literal contributors and or the biggest holders of this particular project, which is considered the like rival project. Now, I'm not I'm not a fucking conspiracy theorist here, but it's funny that you guys can connect screenshots out of context between fucking system space and fucking 4chan and fucking Twitter and Discord. You guys can do this just fine, but you can't go, maybe the four fucking biggest holders of this other project are writing these threads for a reason. That's not like the first thought in your fucking head. So anyway,
So this
fine.
is like a crypto.
Here's the thing:
Yeah.
I've never engaged in any canceled pylon dogpile.
True.
The moment anybody engages in canceled stuff, they're immediately like discredited in a way in my mind.
Yes.
Like they're immediately muddied and like unclean. So it's just like any real artist or any real art movement doesn't have to engage with this. So that's all I have to say about that.
Well, fortunately, he's in the project. He doesn't have to say shit, but I'll say it because I'm not involved. You're a fucking bozo, okay? These fucking bozos writing threads, and I have to sit there and obviously, just to clear the homie's name, we gotta address the accusations as they are, right? I'm not going to do the ad hominem and be like, yo, the 4 threads are all by Tubby Cat people. But the 4 threads are by Tubby Cat people. So, like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? You guys can't put this together? Come on. Anyway, that's all I got to say.
Crypto turf war going on right now. So, yeah, I don't know what more to say about that particular topic. And again, if anybody here in the chat wants to say something, now is the time. Just need those super chats, whatever.
Yeah,
Let's
open up the comment section now.
Yeah,
if you're not singing, we bring in drama.
Yeah.
If you got something to say, come find me.
Fuck you and your
New York
motherfucking
City.
mama.
Yes. Thank you, Lev.
I remember that was definitely one for the ages. Although I feel kind of bad about Mobb Deep because Tupac was
fuck Mobb Deep.
He was talking about them having sickle cell and that they'll have a heart attack. Yeah.
Rest in peace, buddy.
R.I.P.
Prodigy died. Yeah. Right, it's Prodigy. Whatever.
Yeah.
I can't remember the other guy's name.
Yes. So anyway, back to the Miladies. So people are making derivatives. That's good. It seems like a very open market. I'm happy about that. What is going to be next? Because you have the dancing that people do. You have already a semblance of a community. You have very beautiful women there. This is such a hacky interviewer question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Like, what is next for you? Whatever. I don't fucking know. You know what I mean.
Yo, where's the roadmap?
Yeah, where's the roadmap?
No, actually, Jimbo, ironically, the same day they started getting canceled, was on a Twitter space with me talking about the roadmap.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have like Remilia is very like much in for the long haul. Like, we're very much in for building in the bear market and sort of like trying to sort of make products for Miladies and for like the general network that like they'd want to see. Like, we have a real-time chat room sort of model coming soon. We have the bonklers, which is sort of gonna be fun. We have Don is working on this project called Exo Cortex, which I can't really talk too much about it, but it's basically like a mind map sort of social media type structure. So it's in the works, but you know.
What about a video game? Any Milady video game in the works?
There are Milady video games in the works. There's also Milady VTube models in the works. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stuff. We're working with multiple different companies, and multiple different companies are sort of developing individual products and projects with Miladies. Yeah, very few of them got affected by any of this FUD.
Yeah, which is hilarious because I had Nifty Island in my bio. I was at the retreat and they were like, Vers, why are people adding us saying that you're defending a pedo cult? I was like, don't worry about that. I promise it's fine. Give it like 3 days.
It's capital collection doing better than ever. Like, we out here.
Exactly.
Yes. So last thing I wanted to ask was, not really ask so much as say. When it came to crypto art originally, this was maybe back in 2018 when I started to get into it, a lot of the memes that were being made in the crypto art space were with Pepe the Frog. And a lot of people ended up coming at it like DJ Pepe and so on and so forth, who embraced Pepe the Frog, even though he had this whole problematic 4chan thing. And there was even this tea celebration that I went to, this tea ceremony with this guy who looked like Master Miyagi. You know, he had long beard and everything. And I was sitting there next to my friend Lewis, who I just befriended that particular day because he was the creator of Modern Pepe, which is like this Pepe with the, like the patterns for his color. And we were talking about Pepe the Frog, and then all of a sudden this lady who was from the big tech sector in California, and she was moving to Germany, all of a sudden started getting incredibly triggered. She was talking about how, Pepe's like white nationalism, and then she was bringing up Gamergate, and she was telling us to look at the story of Zoe Quinn and what happened to her. And it was
what
very...
really reminds me? Yeah. Sorry, you know what really reminds me of like this whole thing is when people took the OK sign. And they said this was a nationalist sign, right? It's obviously a tool used to sort of like control speech or whatever, and sort of like paint this one side as a bad guys. Nobody really believed it, but they sort of like bought into it just to sort of
I don't know.
To clear their own name, like they don't want to be the one.
Yeah, it's like
who's
renaming,
wrong.
right? It's like and nobody can really define what Miladys are. Nobody can really define what Milady posting is because it's a neutral thing. It's very neutral, and you know, it's whatever people want to make it. It's sort of like a reflection on whatever people want to make of it.
But that,
Well, listen,
but that lady, she was a true believer. The only reason why I even mention her is there are going to be people within the higher echelons of the art world who may have this kind of reaction. Do you think that Miladys is going to always remain like this very niche thing among people that are kind of like in their own group, or do you imagine this going into Bored Apes territory? Can it overcome like this? Not that it's something that's bad, but I'm just saying like it does seem like for the people like that lady.
What I want to say about Bored Apes is they're like basically I don't know exactly where they're from, but in terms of like the Bored Ape cancel for being like neo-Nazis, like they're in the same sense of a neo-Nazi as like anybody in Kaliak, because they took like the same sort of esoteric sort of background that Kaliak put. So I'm pretty sure the Bored Ape holders are Kaliak. Just to tie this back.
Wait! I had no idea about the Bored Apes having anything to do with that whatsoever. This is completely new.
Ryder Rips is the one to really bring this up.
The Yuga Labs is associated.
What?
He's saying like the Yuga Labs is associated. He was trying to do that.
Well. You know, Yuga Labs, like Kali Yuga, they sort of have like allusions to sort of esoteric Hitlerism, and anybody who did any sort of research in that is obvious. You know, they got like audited as being based, right?
Shit's all just aesthetics.
Obviously wasn't aesthetic, like not like exactly like that. I don't believe that anybody really in their heart is racist or anything like this. But there is that connection there.
It's just strange. Like I imagine that something like Bored Apes would be a lot more, let's say, normie friendly. Like it would be a lot more embraced by the general art community. But now all of a sudden, it almost seems like because the apes have this this certain association, as you were saying, and Miladys also has through the hearsay this association with Kaliak and all that, then maybe we could see Miladys becoming just as mainstream. I mean, would you say that Bored Apes are mainstream?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
They are.
You have the biggest celebrities showing them on late night shows. And like looking like it's like a hostage video. Those people are not happy to be there.
No, yeah. Miladys, as Justin Murphy was right, that Miladys are like the first countercultural NFT. Like they're not the mainstream NFT aesthetic on purpose. They're grassroots. They're
But does that even matter? Because if people,
it does matter.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm saying does it protect them from one day being co-opted into the mainstream, because it's like the normies are going to search for whatever's juiciest once they get tired of everything else.
Well, yeah, but this is the thing with like the internet, and it's funny enough, just to keep it on BTR, Alexander Bard wrote this in his book about how like the netocratic swarm will always move past. It's like once it's done, it'll sell it to the people. All right, so. Yeah, so basically the internet doesn't revolve around money. It does, but it's predominantly about attention and what's like cool, right? And once the what he calls like the netocratic swarm gets done with something, once it loses its like cash, its cultural cash, they sell it to like capitalists or whatever who want to like show that they're cool to boomers, right? So effectively, when Milady gets to the point where like it's being infiltrated by normies, it's like everyone's gonna sell because they're gonna be bid up. The price is gonna be bid up. They sell it to liquidity, and then like the capitalists come in. They want to pretend like they're cool. They'll be on TV, talk about it, but it's dead, right? Everyone moved. The vibe shifted. Everyone moved on.
They're just wearing the dead Milady corpse, like Buffalo Bill.
Yeah,
that's how it is.
One of the derivatives. Like I'm rocking one of the orders.
How if you look at like the press action of Bored Apes, none of the original holders or minters, very few of them, the original minters actually own them, and they're sort of like onion peeled or whatever you want to call it, like sort of like as like the project grows, like people have to sell, right? Expanded from what 2K holders to like 5-6K holders, and you know, uh, a lot of Milady holders like don't want to sell. There's a steady growth. If you look at even throughout like the sort of like FUD and cancellation, there was no real like significant dip in holders. Like people wanted to still hold on to them.
It's usually the whales that were just dumping them into like the.
Yeah, the whales were dumping into like willing buyers, basically, right?
But it wasn't like a matter of like people who had Miladies selling them.
Yeah, like the posters, the people, they're still around. Like it was like there's no, and it's like, and I think Justin Murphy said this. The only real effect that's gonna happen is people are just like it's just sort of going to create incentive for a Milady Twitter, which is sort of like a Milady Twitter set. You can do like sort of you can probably do some sort of posting map, like sort of like network map on Milady Twitter now, and you can probably watch it separate from like crypto Twitter or NFT Twitter. Probably what's going on. I don't know.
The Egravore has come of age.
Yeah. Egravore.
Like
I remember that Twitter account. So,
shout out Egravore,
So the last thing I wanted to ask is not as much with Miladies as to do with the specific anime style of the, I don't know, I would say it's like late 90s, where even though Miladies isn't necessarily drawn that way, do you know the specific? I think it was around the time of when Lane came out. There's a specific CG anime style where there's a bit of that Space Jam shading going on while still maintaining, like the early 90s, like the sharp chins and all that.
They love Mia. I mean, sorry, Mia and all Vermillion, all of them. They love Lane. That's like the core of the aesthetic. So accurate.
And that was another thing that one of the people posted there about thinking that there was some kind of suicide cult going on because of the Lane some Lane group. What was that group that they were talking about there?
System Space or whatever system. Yeah, but that has nothing. Even like the people who brought that up, even were like, "That's not fucking like."
I think the closest. I think so. So people tried to say that like Charlie Mia ran it or whatever, but he did mention that he didn't run it, but he trolled them at one point, where I think he sort of like gained their trust and then shut it down. So he was like actively trying to shut it down. So that's like, I think his exposure to that project was literally him trying to troll it and infiltrate it and like shut it down. So anybody trying to say he has any connection to that, they can ask him what his connection with it was. I think he has like one or two posts where he talked about like infiltrating it just to shut it down and sort of raiding it.
But what was the group itself up to?
They had some sort of like, like in Lane, like the first character, like sort of jumping off the building and sort of like getting like connected into the wired.
Yeah.
Like you shed your physical body to enter like the wired sort of like net space. I guess it had something to do with that. It was sort of like weird. I wasn't around. There's like some Vice articles on it. I wouldn't call it a suicide cult. It was sort of like I think it had something to do with Lane Chan. If anybody was ever on Lane Chan, that was a pretty good.
I wasn't on that. No.
That was a pretty good like 4chan sort of like clone. It was like not that bad. It was like operational for like, literally like half a year or some shit. But it has something to do with that.
Well then, my last final question has to do with. What do you think is going to be happening with, at least what you're noticing, with Zoomers now? Because I think all of us here, I don't know how old you are, Yojimbo King. I think Verse and James and Grift and I are sort of like around the same age.
I'm 23.
Oh shit, you are young. Okay, so you can actually tell it better than all of us boomers here. What exactly do you think is going on today with the kids today? What is going on with Gen Z? Is it true that they are a lot more psychologically affected by reality because they've been brought up digitally?
I would say there's a mix of being sort of like half desensitized, and like there's a lot of Zoomers who literally like don't know that 9/11 was real. They just know about it as like memes, like like funny building getting exploded, right?
Yeah. Sandy cheeks and SpongeBob walking.
There's a lot of desensitization, like early access to the internet, watching like I remember like middle school watching like new ISIS video drop. We're on like the middle school bench and watching ISIS video drop, right? I don't know. There's like a half of that and also half like hypersensitization or like hypersensitiveness. So on one hand, Zoomers are like hyper based and also like hypersensitive. It's a very like Kali Yuga, mixed bag sort of generation. There's like really no room for sort of nuance. You're like like Zoomers are like extremists on like whatever pole. I wouldn't even just call it two poles. There's like probably like 8 or 9 different like poles like in the Zoomer sort of like cosmology. I have no idea.
Is that why you would have somebody like Nick Fuentes on one hand being like this very extremist guy, and on the other hand inspecting his friend's apartment allegedly for semen because he didn't want his friend to be dating girls? Like, it's a very strange.
Yeah, cum hunter.
Yeah, cum hunter, exactly.
Yeah,
I have no idea who that is, but
good. Let it stay that way. Yes, we don't want to.
Sorry, excuse me, who?
Yes, exactly.
We don't support people of this nature.
Exactly. So no, the point that I'm bringing up here is that there are these various extremes. I don't know what's going to happen with a lot of these people when they become full-fledged adults. It's weird. Like, I don't know if we're going to be heading into a dark age.
I don't know if this is ever going to happen also at the same time.
You what? Say that again?
No, I mean, there's just so many Zoomers that I know who, like, they graduate high school and, like, they're into college or they're about to graduate college, but then, like, they just make so much in crypto or whatever. They're like, why would I ever want to join the workforce, right?
Yeah.
Or they just start this like Zoomer job and it's like, oh, this is really a job. I guess I'm making money, but it's like doesn't feel like a job, I think Zoomers are very like heart. They're very heart people. Like just for like they just like follow their hearts,
Hearts.
But just following your heart is not enough if you don't have a brain. So the question for me is, do they have?
How do we educate them? That's the question.
Yeah. Well, are they educated or no?
Education camps, perhaps.
Yeah, we gotta put.
My ancestors know quite a few things about those camps.
Oh, man. Again, James, the only reason why I let you get away with it is because I know you're actually not anti-Semitic, unlike some other people, but that is what it is. But
I love Jews. Jews rock.
Jews rock. Oh, wait, can I link the
yes.
Free Palestine?
Can I link the video of Kiloa being like, "I love Israel, gone"?
That's why nobody can ever cancel me for being anti-Semitic because I'm well respected in the Jewish community. Jews love me. You can ask anybody, ask any Jew. They love me. I'm well respected. I don't need to prove to anybody sort of my standing in the Jewish
I don't
community.
think it's going to show up in the chat though, because this is not Discord.
No, it says share. It says share.
It's not going to work. Whatever shows up in the Discord.
Best relationship with
yes.
Israel, people of the Jewish persuasion, the big nose people, the tiny hat people, they love me, okay?
James, look at my nose. How big is this nose? Look at my nose.
Yeah, you're a fake Jew. You're not a real Jew.
By the way, my favorite bit, and we're going to end soon, but my favorite part of that Jews Rock sketch was that alligator. You remember the alligator? The one whose head was green, but the body was like a different shade of green? I like the alligator. I also like that seagull that Sam Hyde was in when he was saying, I love Jews.
Were you describing like demons in the apocalypse? What are you talking about?
That MD, yeah.
Oh, I missed this.
Yeah, that was a nice skit. All right. Well, we're gonna be finishing this up, so I just want to thank everybody for being here, and let's do the plugs right now. So here we go. Let's start with Verse. Plug away. What are you working on?
I am not. Well, actually, I don't know. I'm not working on shit. I'm thinking of bringing the podcast back. I've been doing Twitter Spaces a lot more, so catch me on Twitter Spaces. I'm doing them basically every week now.
Nice.
Catch me on Twitter. Versaloon. Blah blah blah.
What do you talk about in the Spaces, by the way?
Mostly crypto stuff and NFT and blah blah blah. I'm being like more on. If you know where my other account is, but on this account, I'm being more professional. I'm behaving. I'm being funny and crypto shit posting predominantly. And
James, where could we find the MK Ultra podcast? Ultra Money.
YouTube.com. MK Ultra Money on there. We got some stuff I'm actually dropping this week with clips from when Lev was on last year. So that's going to be dropping this week. The RIP McAfee episode that we had. And then also we got a Milady party going on tonight, starting at 10
really?
p.m. at 457 Fulton Street. So if you're around in Brooklyn, come to that party at 457 Fulton Street in Brooklyn tonight.
Again, 457. Just type it in your Uber.
Yeah, 457.
Just pull up 457 Fulton Street.
Are you not worried, by the way,
Astoria?
of people like of this information going into the wrong hands?
No. It's for everybody. It's for the people.
Yeah.
Oh, this is actually a party. I thought this was the Astoria location. That's you always link in your podcast.
I guess I'll just do a quick plug. Follow me at Yojimbo_King, Cito Capital, Brumelia, fucking what else? I don't know.
Wait, Jimbo's Cito Capital? Oh shit! Let me check base alert.
Wait, are you even in that? I should get you.
I am. I just never check it because I didn't realize who it was.
Cito Capital coming up.
Shkreli's biggest position.
Never missed.
Never missed ever. Damn.
Never missed a call. Anyway, yeah, I need to run. Sorry guys.
Go run. Thank you so much for coming in, Yojimbo
He's
King.
heading to 457 Fulton Street right now to get ready for the Milady party.
And lastly, but not leastly, Grift.shop. What do you have to promote? Grift.shop.
Shower's watching right now. He just messaged me.
Shower's been watching. He's been in here.
All right, Grift.shop. We got MK Ultra Money collection. Got a lot of shit coming this summer for that. We got bootleg Milady merch in the Seed Oil Capital collection, as well as some other stuff there. Shout out Seed Oil. Yeah. Yeah, you know what it is. It's gonna be this summer is gonna be nuts. Like it's just been a good warm weather party vibe starting this weekend. And you know, like New York's great. Like I'm very excited for what's coming soon. Wait. The vibe is right.
Really quick, I just wanted to say, follow at Shower the Saint for all up-to-date information that you need for the Tubby Cats NFT.
Tell
Shower the Saint, we got you for your Tubby Cats information, Tubby Cats news and updates. At Shower the Saint on Twitter.
Wait, how do you spell shower the same?
Shower the Saint, like shower, like a shower, and then the
all
Saint,
right, cool.
like Catholic. All right,
later, bros.
All right, there we are. All right, so the stream is almost over. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, patreon.com/breaktherules. Become a patron today, and let's get this started. And this is going to be a fun summer. Like Tupac Shakur said after he was in the car out of prison, have a good summer. Have a good summer, biatch. Take care. Mwah. Good night, everybody.